Earlier in the four, we brought you the very latest from the Derek Chauvin trial in Minnesota. We're bringing in a lot of different voices and perspectives over the course of the Chauvin trial to make sure we dig into the issues surrounding it.
Today, we'd like to once again welcome to the fore federal appeals attorney and co-chair for San Diegans for Justice, Andrea St. Julian. Andrea, thank you so much for joining us.
You're very welcome.
It has been a really long week, a long 2 weeks for jurors. Last week was pretty emotional. This week has been a lot of key facts and evidence presented. Today, the medical examiner took the stand. How do you feel jurors are receiving all of this information? It's a lot of technical evidence.
It is a lot of technical evidence, but you have to understand the purpose of it. So right now, the prosecution is trying to prepare the jury and inoculate them from the attacks that are going to come later from the defense attorney. And let's be really clear, most of the information that is being given now and that will be given probably by the defense attorney is really information to distract the jurors from the very obvious, okay? It's not information that is really of much use or that relevant. So it's really about a game of distraction and whether or not that game is going to succeed.
Andrea, we've also heard a lot over the past couple of weeks about training. What does that testimony tell us?
Yeah. It tells us actually quite a bit. Training is really important, but we've also seen that formal training has its limits. Derek Chauvin was a police officer for nearly 20 years, right? He was trained as a cadet. He had formal trainings every single year. Despite all of that formal training, he still used egregiously excessive force against George Floyd. This shows us and speaks to the fact that it really is the informal training that police officers learn in the field that is important to them, and that informal training trumps all of the formal training that they have learned. And that's where there's a problem in policing. You know, the fact that the informal training trumps the formal training. And also, I think a lot of this testimony showed that the Minneapolis Police Department condoned the use of informal training as opposed to the use of formal training. We had a police inspector testify that she had known Chauvin for nearly 20 years and that she had chosen him to become a training officer. This is a man who flouted the rules of formal training, yet the department chose him to train other officers. So although the Minneapolis Police Department is doing its best to distance itself from what Chauvin did, they are also complicit in what happened.
And it'll be interesting to see when the defense has a chance to present its side, what experts they bring as well to try and marry Derek Chauvin a little bit more closely to the policies and informal policies of the police department. Andrea, thank you so much for joining us this week. We hope you have a good weekend, and we will see you back here, I'm sure, as the trial continues.